Well, it's such a beautiful fall day today that I decided to bring the camera outside. And today I'm going to be answering question number 5 as part of the virtual homeschool co-op. If you've noticed, I did skip a question. It was number 4, but it really didn't pertain to us in a sense that it was for what was our emergency plan as far as homeschool. And to not get into it, we really don't live in an area to where we have to really consider that. So it was just something I couldn't really talk about because it's a system that we don't have to use personally. We do have some things that we can like pick up and go with, but you know, as far as a well laid out plan, we don't have. So anyway, today is why do we homeschool? You know, and this is a question that we get a lot, you know, and I want to say first off that the one thing that a lot of people assume because we homeschool is that we're against public education. We get that sometimes. And that's not the case at all. A little backstory, in case that you aren't familiar with us and just stumbled on the video, we have 4 kids. Our oldest girls are 24 and 21, and they both went to public school. Also, my mother still works in the public school system, and my mother-in-law is actually a retired school teacher. And on top of all of that, we have a lot of friends that are educators. So as far as being against public education, we're not. So why the switch? You know, why did we decide to homeschool the boys and the girls went to regular school? Well, first off, our oldest daughter did often ask to be homeschooled because she was very quiet and had a hard time adjusting. But at that point in our lives, we were unable to do that. So, you know, that was something that was always in the back of our minds because of her asking so often. Fast forward, you know, several years, and actually even after she graduated high school, Davis, our oldest, he's 9, oldest of the 2 boys, he's 9, and he actually did go to pre-K and kindergarten. Now, Davis is very, very quiet. He's just really shy. I was really shy growing up. As I mentioned, Kiana, our oldest, was very shy growing up and had a hard time making friends. Well, Davis was very quiet. And when we started him in pre-K, he was 4 and a half. Actually started in October because there was a waiting list in our county. We live in a very small county. And so there was some openings that came up, and we were kind of torn to put him in or not put him in, you know, and we had people say, no, put him in, it's good for him. Well, we put him in. And from the time he started pre-K, he would come home crying every evening. He just was not happy. And we would drop him off in the mornings at school, and he would cry, not wanting for us to leave him. So then we started putting him on the bus. And, you know, Angelica, our youngest daughter, you know, was in high school at the time, so she was on the bus with him in the mornings. So we knew she would be watching out for him, but he still just was having a really, really hard time. And over that course of that time, he was changing. And so we went ahead and, you know, went on in kindergarten. Okay, pre-K, maybe he was just a little young, you know. So we put him in kindergarten, and kindergarten didn't get any better. He, in our situation, the reason that we chose to pull Davis out and to start homeschooling is the fact that he was bullied. That was basically the only time we've had to ever deal with bullying, and he was bullied through half of kindergarten. You know, and I'm not blaming it on the educator's fault. It's not their fault. It's not the school system's fault. In the county that we live in North Carolina, there's not enough educators, and we know this, and they know this, and they're short-handed, and because of the cuts that had to go on, and they can't be everywheres, you know. But for 5 years old and being bullied, it's a sad situation, you know. And we worked with this teacher and communicated with this teacher throughout, and she was doing all she could do. And one of the final straws was, you know, he'd went into the bathroom at 5 years old, and with the boys as they go to the bathroom, because when in these classes they send them out, you know. And he went in the bathroom, and one boy held his arms behind him, one boy watched the door, and one boy punched him in the stomach. And so that was honestly, this happened toward the end of the year, and more we were considering homeschooling. And that's when we started looking into it, and because this was not a path we had ever thought about taking. Homeschooling was something that we just kind of, like I said, Kiana had asked about it, but we just kind of brushed it off, that type of thing. So it wasn't anything that we were really for or against, because we weren't knowledgeable in it. So that's when we started doing our homework and looking at the different options and different things. And I'll admit, I was scared to death at first. I thought, I can't do this. This is something that I cannot do. I don't have an education in teaching. So how can I teach my child? But it's working, and it's amazing, and we love it. So looking back as to why we originally started homeschooling, has things changed? And really, I would say yes and no. It's changed. Hold on, I got something in my hand. It's changed in a sense that, I don't know, I don't look at school as a bad thing, and I never did. But with homeschooling, it's just opened our eyes, I guess. I do it now because I love it. I really do love it. And, it works for us. It works for our family as a whole. And there is just something about teaching your children and them learning something, and the look on their face that yes, they've learned it. And I'm sure I have that look too. Yes, we finally mastered this after months. But there is just something about that. And also, Davis has struggles in math and stuff, and I'll often say, this is another reason why we continue to homeschool, is because with him, I can work with him on areas that he is really struggling with, because honestly, he is in 4th grade, but right now he is doing basically 3rd grade, early 4th grade math. He just really struggles with it. And so with that being said, with homeschooling, we can focus on those areas with him and take it a little slower. He'll eventually catch up, not worried about it, but right now he needs that. He needs that time. And if he was in regular school, he would not have that time. That he would have to keep up with the regular class. And I would fear that would get him behind. We dealt with that with our youngest daughter, who's 21 now. She got behind when she was younger due to surgeries and stuff. And she was not homeschooled per se, but she had a teacher from the public school system come and teach her because she was in a full body cast. And she was behind. She got behind about the time that happened, and she struggled all through school because they have to keep up with their peers. They have to keep up with the class, and she just knocks the charts. She's intelligent and everything else, but math she struggles with. She missed that learning. And so I didn't want Davis to do that because I have seen her struggle, and at the time I didn't know. And and looking back, I almost blame myself because I didn't know. I didn't realize how hard she was having it when she was little, because she was coming home and doing her work. She never said anything, and she was making these good grades, but she was lacking. She had missed that. So I guess really it has changed in the sense that now it's because I want them to, because of Davis struggling in certain things, and Luke just now, he's in 1st grade. And I worried about him. I'm not going to lie. He is rambunctious. He is a wild child. I'll be honest with you. He's very quick to learn, but he's also very quick to ignore me. So we started kindergarten last year, playing it by ear, because he is just 5. So, in the state of North Carolina, they can test to see if they're going to qualify for kindergarten or not in regular schools. So I went ahead and started him. I thought, we're going to play this by ear. If he gets it, he gets it. And if he doesn't, he doesn't. And we'll repeat kindergarten next year. It's no big deal. But if he gets it, then we're taking off into 1st grade. Well, we're in 1st grade now. And this is the first time I have taught a child to read. And it's pretty exciting. I was worried, but it's very, very exciting. So, I wouldn't change it for the world. There are days that I want to cry. And there are days that I want to pull my hair out. And I can assure you that every day that we start school begins with prayer, because I couldn't do it on my own, but I wouldn't change it for the world. It's just, I feel that we were meant to be. Now, I'm going to go on to say, well, what if, as Davis or Luke get older, they want to go to public school? Am I against that? No. While I enjoy homeschooling them, every year we leave it up to them. So, you know, when we started homeschooling, we said we're going to try it this year, and we're going to see what happens. And then we've tried it the next year, and then the next year, and we're on year number 4 now. So, if any time they come to us and say, you know what, I want to go and try school, regular school. I want to give it a try. I don't have a problem with that. My husband doesn't have a problem with that. You know, that's great if they want to try it. And if they try it, it doesn't work, then you can always go back to homeschooling. So, with that being said, yeah, we don't have a problem with public schooling or anything like that. I will say, though, he was coming home learning things that we don't really teach him, or that he doesn't hear at our house, because, I mean, we don't say words, and, I mean, I'll be honest, they can't even watch primetime TV because of the stuff that's on it. And so he was coming home talking about stuff that he'd heard other kids say. So I'm not going to lie, that worried me. That worried my husband, you know, and that was something we prepared ourselves for when Davis started school. And but it was something that we weren't happy about. So that was an issue too that we had, and one of the reasons that we homeschooled, because we didn't want him learning things at 5 that I probably didn't learn until I was a teenager. So there's that. I mean, there's that situation as well. Another thing that I really love about homeschooling is, and this goes back to being able to focus on certain things, is being able to pick our curriculum. I admit, I was crazy overwhelmed our first year of homeschooling. There were so many options out there, and I didn't know, and every child learns different. And so the trick is finding a curriculum that works for your child. And there are things I have bought for Davis that didn't work for Davis, and that's fine. That's okay. Then we tried another route. But I still have them tucked away. So I can try them with Luke. And if it still doesn't work with Luke, then I'll donate them to a family who needs them. And that's what I do a lot of times when we do curriculum and we have things that we don't use. I'll donate them to, or give them to another family who may be in need of them. But I like being able to choose the curriculum. I like being able to choose faith-based curriculum. I mean, that faith-based curriculum is important to us. So as a family and as a whole, it's important. And so I like being able to pick and choose my curriculum that's going to fit not only my child's learning, but that's going to also go with our family's beliefs. So that is another thing. So anyway, that is what I have. That's why we homeschool. So I hope I answered your questions on why we homeschool. Basically, ours started with one of those stories that make you think that we hate homeschool, that we hate public school, and we don't. It was just a fluke, you know, and it happened, and we're still good friends with his teachers that he had in kindergarten. I mean, my mother-in-law worked with the teacher that he had in kindergarten. She retired the year when he got out of kindergarten. It was her last year there. You know, and educators are wonderful. They work hard, and, you know, and they're very much appreciated. We always appreciated them when we were in regular school. You know, we had 13 years of regular school with the girls, you know, plus college. So, I mean, basically we homeschool because it works for us. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions whatsoever or comments, I'd love to hear them. Just leave them down below. Any questions about homeschool, I'll try my best to answer them. Also, as part of the virtual homeschool co-op, I'm going to leave a link down below for that as well. Keep in mind that it's open for anyone who homeschools that would like to participate. You do not have to do YouTube. So you can be a blogger as well. So whether you're a YouTuber or a blogger, check them out. There are some wonderful women on there, and some, you know, and we're all different, and it's just really fun and neat to listen to what everyone has to say and their different views. So be sure to check them out. Links below, and thank you for your time. Have a wonderful day.